Welcome back, folks, and happy Monday. It's September the 1st, 2025, Labor Day for those who celebrate. Labor Day is also the traditional unofficial end of the summer tourist season, particularly along the coast. But really, haven't all the tourists already moved in? Born on this date. In 1904, Crimson Tide football halfback and Hollywood cowboy actor Johnny Mack Brown of Dothan, the Dothan Antelope. In 1933, early rock and roll singer and country legend Conway Twitty, who was born in Mississippi but lived in Alabama and attended Smith Station High School. He was born Harold Jenkins, and at Smith Station he was a big baseball player. Might have played with the Phillies if he hadn't gone into the service. Today we have money raised in a mayoral campaign, the most conservative college campuses, and more. My name's Ike Morgan, and we're down in Alabama.
It started with the biggest pipe bomb the FBI had ever seen.
There is a bomb in Centennial Park. You have 30 minutes.
It ended in a dumpster after the largest manhunt in American history.
My knees knocked so hard that I was about to answer them. That's how nervous I was.
Eric Rudolph and the rise of anger.
Domestic terrorism has been metastasizing across the country for a long time now.
True story, true crime, true consequences for us all.
American Shrapnel, from award-winning journalists Becca Andrews and John Archibald, two-time winner of the Pulitzer Prize. Now available wherever you get your podcasts.
I appreciate your attention to some of the more obscure news items and that I can actually listen to it rather than have to read with poor eyesight. Thank you.
What I would like to know is how's Sylacauga going to do this year?
Hey, 2-0 since you left that message is not a bad way to start. Now it's region games to worry about, perhaps the biggest, a ball game later this month against Clay Central that could separate the wheat from the chaff. Just make sure you take care of those referees out there in Sylacauga. I don't want anything but good news from Joey Shelnut after he collapsed on the field in the opener. Y'all can sound off on any topic by calling 205-304-1814 and leaving a brief message, less than 15 seconds. It might show up on a future episode. Think of it like a spoken tweet. That's 205-304-1814. Well, last week, Birmingham Mayor Randall Woodfin dominated his third election by winning more than 70% of the vote in a field of 9 candidates. AL.com's Hannah Denham reports that Woodfin also pulled in more than 80% of the total fundraising by that field. The incumbent raised about $1.58 million in campaign funding. That's 7 times Wendell Gavon's $198,650. None of the other candidates even cracked $50,000. A little over half of Woodfin's contributions came from the city of Birmingham, or came from within the city of Birmingham. Most of the rest came from around Alabama, with 18% coming from out of state. Well, a safety alert that went out at Auburn University Friday warned of reports of students being involuntarily drugged, reports AL.com's Diane Moy. Campus Safety and Security issued the alert. Victims were reporting symptoms such as vomiting, dizziness, loss of memory, and loss of feeling in their limbs after drinking alcohol. Now, if you're ever having symptoms and think you've been drugged, get medical attention and report it to police. Also, try to avoid going to the bathroom until you get to the hospital or other medical clinic so you can give them a good urine sample. Now, if you're out having drinks, keep an eye on yours, on or off campus. You never know when some goober might try to slip you something. And if you're one of those goobers, know that drugging somebody is not a cute prank, but actually an aggravated assault, which is a felony. Today's rankings take a look at the political leanings of college campuses. Conventional wisdom always wants to point toward campuses as bastions of liberalism and not the classical kind. But AL.com's Diane Moy reported on an analysis from Niche that tried to rank the most conservative colleges in the U.S. Niche used a survey of students mostly on their own political preferences, but also how they viewed the political preferences of their fellow students at the university. So it might be more accurate to say these are the most conservative student bodies, perhaps. Number 1 was Liberty University, the private Christian school in Virginia. So Niche may be onto something with its rankings here. For the part you're interested in, the state of Alabama had 2 schools in the top 25. The Baptist-connected Samford University in Birmingham came in at number 20. And Auburn University was ranked 22nd. Finishing just outside the top 25 was the University of Alabama in Tuscaloosa at number 29. A story broke on Friday out of Tennessee, but I wanted to mention it here today in case it got lost in the weekend shuffle with football and everything else, because it's a story we've thought we've known most or all of our lives here in the South. Investigators from the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation believe that Buford Pusser, the real-life sheriff of Walking Tall fame, likely killed his wife and set it up to look as if they'd been ambushed, reports AL.com's Jeremy Gray. Pusser was a former wrestler who made his name fighting moonshining and organized crime in the South. He was sheriff of McNairy County, Tennessee on the Mississippi line, and his conflict with the Dixie Mafia, and specifically the State Line Mob, is the focus of his fame and the movies that were made about him. The climax of that conflict was the 1967 night that he and his wife Pauline were checking on a reported disturbance when along the highway they were ambushed, resulting in her death and his being shot in the face. At least that was his story that he took to the grave in 1974. Nobody was ever arrested in Pauline Pusser's death. Meanwhile, Pusser became a hero on the big screen. Local DA Mark Davidson said many a law officer was inspired to the career by Pusser's legend. But Davidson and the TBI say that the evidence points toward a deadly domestic incident and a cover-up, and that they believe they could get an indictment now if Pusser was still alive. Their story is that Pusser shot Pauline outside the car. There was blood on the hood. And that he put a gun in his mouth and fired a round through his own cheek, which was already numb from a previous injury. Yeah, their findings make for a rougher story than Walking Tall ever was. Thank y'all so much for listening to us. We're going to be back here again in the morning. Until then, y'all come by and see what we're up to anytime you want to on the internet at AL.com.